transforming leaders who influence, inspire, and innovate with speed and serenity in any economy so that people, organizations, and countries thrive. We have Payal ma'am among us, but before we begin with the talk, let me invite our very own Duty ma'am for a brief welcome remark. Duty ma'am, the virtual floor is yours.
Thank you, Anushka. It's a pleasure to welcome Payal ji to interact with our students. We wish this was done face-to-face interaction, and we look forward to that day as well. We think having leaders made is more important than having leaders born, and this is the world of making leaders. It's a time of change, and it's a time where we need to find our inner talent and mobilize that. We think Payal ji, with her wonderful expertise, her very down-to-earth personality, and we have noticed that even with a few interactions, very grounded and high level of intelligence as well as observation. Her perception also is going to help us understand what we can do ourselves. So Payal ji, without much ado, we really would be going amiss if we didn't thank you for this wonderful opportunity to interact with our students and for you to be welcomed in Nepal next time we have this interaction session. Thank you. Back to you, Anushka.
Thank you, Duty ma'am, for such a laconic welcome remark from your side. Now, if we have Payal ma'am on the floor. Payal ma'am, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anushka. And thank you to Mr. Ashok ji and to Sabina, to Dwiti and to Vishal, to the entire team and to all you wonderful students out here. It's a privilege to be amongst all of you. And so, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 30 minutes of the time from everyone, from all the students, and I'm going to share with you a couple of nuggets of leadership that I know of, and then we'll open it up for Q&A. But I must say something, it's really great to be among young minds like all of you. I always say that God has a strange sense of humor. When you are young, He gives you all the energy to move ahead in life, but but less wisdom. And the older you grow, He gives you all the wisdom, but He starts to decline your energy. Okay, so here's the deal. I'm going to share my leadership wisdom with you. That doesn't mean I am any older, okay? But I'm going to share the leadership wisdom with you. And in return, you have to share your energy with me in this virtual room. Is that yes? Can you all put a yes in the chat box for me? Come on. All of you, can you put a yes for me in the chat box? My eyes are going to be rolling over all the entire screen. Give a nice yes in the chat box. Is the chat box open for everyone? Okay, super. So I'm seeing all the yes coming, and let's roll it a little fast. Super. Now, there is a reason I asked you to give me that yes in the chat box. That's because I don't come with any set PowerPoints that I can tell you, okay, take a look at this slide. I'm going to give you some information, and then you can go ahead with your life. I am here today, my friends, to talk to you, to share with you real life incidences from my own career, from the career of my clients, from whoever I have had the opportunity to coach up till now. I'm here to share with you and have with you some bold and courageous conversation around leadership. So your yes tells me that you are resonating with me on a certain topic, that you have experienced this, that you want to learn more about it, that you are more enthusiastic, that I am talking with like-minded students and faculty over here. So your yes throughout today's session will keep me going in today's session. Okay, so here's how we will start off. I'm going to put something out there. Okay, before we start, what it takes to be a great leader. When I was speaking with the team of the college, of the SAIM college, here what we were talking about, that, we want to talk about leadership, and one of the major questions that comes is what it takes to be a great leader. So I'm typing something out here. I want you all to just copy paste that and keep it flowing today in this session right now. I'm putting out something. Can you all put that down somewhere where you want to, whether it is in your books, whether it is on the phone, whether it is in the chat here, that today onward, I am an unstoppable leader. The US is for unstoppable. Today onward, I am a unstoppable leader. The reason I asked you to put this out there, my friends, is because I always believe that we are here to thrive in our life, and all that it takes to be a great leader is this one phrase: today onward, I am a leader. I am an unstoppable leader. Today onward, I'm a leader. And I love those responses coming on the chat box. Let that keep coming, because it tells me that we are all working on this together. It's not just me speaking to you. I want to speak with you. That's all that it takes. It's simple, and the session is as simple as I'm going to make it. Executives and students around the globe have asked me this question all the time, my friends. Payal, what according to you does it take to be a great leader? And their question often reminds me of this incident that I had witnessed in one of my sessions, which was in Mexico. I'll share it with you all here. I'm just remembering it. So, my work as a leadership speaker usually takes me around many places. And one of those places happened to be Mexico. And there I met with this person. His name was Mark. Okay. And he was the director of this finance company there. It was a mid-sized finance company. So during the lunch, of the session, it was a full day session I was doing there. So during the lunchtime, Mark approached me with his goal that, Payal, I want to become the CEO of this very company. And I asked him, I said, okay, that's a great aspiration, Mark. So tell me, what steps have you taken to become the CEO or to get in that direction? And he was so excited, he literally stopped eating his food and he said, oh, you know what, Payal, I have started to build on a lot of skills. I've been upskilling myself. I've been reskilling. I've been taking on a lot of projects and credentials. I said, okay, that's great. And then I asked him, I said, okay, if there were any problems, I said, have you noticed any problems in the company or anything in particular which you saw or which you wanted to solve in the company? He said, heck yeah, of course, Payal, I have. He said, let me tell you, there is a lot of negativity in this organization. This organization needs to restructure its complete goals. And you know what, Payal? There is no appreciation here, no appreciation for the employees, no appreciation for their work. And these are all these problems. And there are many more that I could tell you of. And then I cut him in between of his phrase, which usually I would not do. And I asked him, I said, okay, Mark, tell me if you have taken any steps to resolve these problems. And he was very confused. He looked at me as if I was speaking some alien language or something. He looked at me and he said, no, not now. I'm going to get to all of these, Payal, when I become the CEO of the company. Not now. As of now, Payal, I am working in my role as a director. When I get there, you just see, Payal, what all I will do to just improve this company. Now, I want to ask all of you something here, my friends. The reason I shared this real life incidents with you is because how many of you, and be very honest with yourself. If it's a yes, go ahead and put it in the chat box. Be very honest with yourself. How many of you have ever said this to yourself? When I get there, I will do a good job. When I get to be the head of the student team, I will do wonders. When I get that job, Payal, in Google or where I need to go, then you see, I will bring out all my leadership qualities. Oh, I love those yeses. Guess what? IBT. I've been there, I have done that, and I've been guilty of that very, very thing of thinking, when I get that position, years back, I was working in corporate America before I left to do what I'm doing. And I would always say that to myself, I'll get there. When I get there, I'll bring out all my qualities. When I get there, I'm going to make sure that I take extra care of my team. My question to you, my friends, is how do you know you will ever get there? How do you know you will ever get there? 90% today when now it's been what, I think more than 15 years of doing what I'm doing now. And the more I have lived, the more I have coached executives, and the more I meet people around the globe, I have come to understand, my friends, that 90% of the people in the world, they look at leadership as Mark had done. They look at leadership as a role, as a title, as a chair that they need to be on. And I don't know why, but we all feel that, we all believe that when we get that role, when we get there, we are going to have some superpowers bestowed upon us. I don't know from where that comes, but that happens everywhere. In fact, none of us know whether we are going to get what we aspire, because positions, titles are only one in a company or wherever you are. If you are here where you are in your university, there may be one position of a head of a student or to become something. There's only one. But what happens to the other 99 people who aspired? Does that mean that whatever qualities you have, whatever are your gifts, whatever are your natural talents, do you just bury them inside of you? Or do you showcase them where you are? Friends, if I had this opportunity to come out of this screen and come and talk to you one-on-one, just like I would do in my live session, I would actually come down that stage and be with all of you. And if I had this opportunity to come out and talk to you and to tell each of you what it takes to be a great leader, I would say it's only one thing. You need to develop a leadership mindset. When you wrote in the chat box, today onward, I am a leader, it's a mindset that you created at the beginning of the session today. And it's a mindset with which you live every single day. It does not matter what your role is. It does not matter who you are today. It just does not matter. And this I am saying from my personal experience. If I had the opportunity to talk to you continuously for 2 or 3 hours, I would give you real life incidences of my own life and of my clients of how this very term, the leadership mindset, is a game changer. Friends, there are two mindsets in every person, whether it's you, whether it's me, whether it's your teachers, whether it's your boss, anyone. There are two mindsets in every living person. One is a victim mindset, where we are always blaming circumstances. We are blaming the virus. We are blaming the environment. We are blaming the country we are in. We are blaming the boss. We are blaming our society. We are blaming everyone for what happens with us and to us. And the second is a leader's mindset, where we are the people who take the responsibility, where we know that if it is success or failures, it's because of what I am. It's because of who I am. And that type of a mindset, and let me tell you something, the mindset that often wins, is the one that you feed every single day. If every single day you are going to feed the mindset of the victim, that, oh yeah, why did this happen to me? Why did I only get this marks? Why did I only not get into that role? If you're going to ask, our minds are like Google. Okay, the type of questions you ask is the type of answers you get. So I always tell people that if you ask questions like, why am I not able to secure great grades? The answer is going to be because you're dumb, you're stupid. I mean, that's the type of response we'll get. But if you ask questions like, how do I improve my grades? Your mind is going to come back to you and tell you, these are the steps you need to take. So it all depends on the type of questions you have. You have to decide, and that's something for you to reflect, my friends. You have to decide, are you a person who lives every day with a victim mindset, or are you a person who lives every day with a leader's mindset? And that itself is a game changer. If any of you have ever read any of my books, you would know that I draw a lot from quantum physics and from the science of the brain. And the reason I say why it is important to write this phrase in your vocabulary every single day, say it to yourself, today onward, I am a leader, is because I'll give it to you very soon. The prefrontal area, if any of you are interested in the science of brain, you would know that the prefrontal area of our brain, it is responsible for setting the goals and for goal achieving. And that area of the brain is also responsible for triggering emotions like worry, anxiety, tensions, joy, everything. So you can imagine if you're going to work every single day with a victim mindset, why did this happen? Why me? And blaming everyone. What impact is it having on the prefrontal area and what impact it's having on your goal? That's the reason we see today why few people reach to the top. They are super successful at their jobs, at their business, and why there are many people who are struggling. They are working hard, but still not getting there. So give me a yes, my friends, if you're with me. I'm seeing some of the questions coming up here, and probably I'll take these up as we move ahead. But I hope all of you are with me. Okay, super. So how do you develop this leadership mindset? That should be the main question. How do you develop? Thank you for saying. Okay, so it's been the right time where the electricity went. Okay, I could get into the victim mindset and say, oh my God, why now between this session when we are doing great, what's wrong? That's exactly the victim and the leader's mindset. I think that was a great example by the universe right now that happened. So here's very quickly, I'm going to share with you very quickly 3 to 4 ways that you can become a great leader, that you can develop a leadership mindset. Take these down. Most of the things that I say are all what I learned by coaching some of the most successful people in the world. And the reason I say this is not to impress you, but to express to you that by the time it's coming to you, it's proven, it's practiced. And number 2, these are not openly available on public domains, what we usually say. So here's the first one. You've got to be consistent. Okay, that's what I have noticed these people doing at all times when I'm coaching them, is like they are very consistent. That's number 1. Whenever I would do these live sessions, now we are virtual, but when I would do these live sessions a year back, just before 2020, I would, our live sessions it was always fun. We would do these book signings. We would take a lot of pictures. People would take pictures with me. We would do book signings. I remember this, a lot of times there are people who come to me after my live sessions and they would say, oh, you know what, Payal, I want to leave my corporate job and I want to do what you're doing. I think it's so fun, Payal. You get these standing ovations and you get to sign books and take pictures and people come to you, and I want to do that. And I said, okay, that's great. In what field do you want to do? And I always ask this to people. So they come up, they want to do consulting, IT consulting. Most of our clients come from the IT background and the banking sector. So they would say, we want to do in this field, we want to do a consulting and all. And we want to get to a point where, to get what you're getting. And the very next question they ask me is, how do you write so many books, Payal? How do you get the time to bring out all this content on your social media? How do you do that? And I answer it very transparently. There is no secret to it. I will even share it with you. I practice the rule of 3. That's a rule I have derived in my life. It's a rule I have explained to many of my executive clients. It's a rule of 3. Every single day, I write, I read, I connect. I write, I read, I connect. That's exactly what I told him. And they look back at me and they are like, okay, so that's simple, Payal. So every single day, if I want to do something, I should read, write, and connect. I said, no, that's my rule of 3. I read, write, and connect. Okay, so I should have my rule of 3. And I said, yes. Okay, so what about weekends, Payal? I said, every weekend I read, I write, I connect. Okay, but it's a Christmas week, Payal. It's a break for Thanksgiving. I said every Christmas break and every Thanksgiving weekend, I read, I write, I connect. Okay, but what about if you're not well? I said I read, I write, I connect. These are the rule of three. These three things I do every single day. My message to him was, you've got to be consistent in your work and in your energy level. You see, my friends, what's your rule of three is what you have to derive, because I don't know what your goals are, but I'm sure, I'm sure you all have a goal. You all are such, great minds here that I am amongst today. And I was listening to all the conversations you all were having with your faculty, and I was feeling that this is after a long time, I have been amongst people who are joyous in talking, who are happy to speak with their teachers, who teachers are happy to speak with the students. It's a rare thing that you see. It's not very often that you see this happening. So that's a big applause to all of you all. So what's your rule of three. You have to be sure that whatever is your goal, what are the three things you are going to do every single day, no matter what. No matter what. My friends, motivation is, I always tell people that, motivation is very short-lived. So I don't believe much in it. I always feel motivation is for the average people, because the best people out there who are continuously working, innovating, and you are seeing them doing something or the other, are the people who do not rely on motivation. They rely on their work to fulfill them. So here's an action plan for you. What are the three things you will consistently do to achieve your success? Okay. And I'm keeping this short, my friends, is because in case ever you want to listen more, it's on my YouTube channels, it's on my podcast, both are leadership channels. But here's something I want you to write down specifically for yourself, my friends. It's a leadership breakthrough moment that I want to give you. It's very, very, very easy to start something, but being consistent on that project, that's hard. And that's where success awaits you. Okay, somebody's asked me to repeat that. It's very easy to start something, but being consistent on that project, that's hard. And that's where success awaits you. Second, I wanted to think about something here. Let me ask you all something, just based on the responses I'm seeing on the chat box. Let me ask you something. Why do so many people say that they are going to do something and then they never follow through? Whereas there are some people who will say something in their heads and they will go ahead and do it. But what do you feel is the difference? Why does that happen? Any responses for that? Why is it that some people say they will do 100 things but don't even follow through one? But then there are people who will say they will do one thing and they will definitely do that one thing and move to the next. Why do you think that difference is there? Any responses?
Actions are more important than anything else.
Come again.
Actions are more important than anything else. You have got a plan, but you have to execute it at the ultimate situation. And you need to have a kind of determination to do that kind of thing.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. That's a great one. Anyone else would like to put into something else? Because of mindset. Okay, I'm seeing the answers coming here from the heart. Okay, here's what I have noticed, just keeping all what you all have said, I'm putting that together. Goal clarity. Okay, it's the goal clarity. What makes some teachers and students excited to teach and learn, while others are pulling themselves each day into the classroom? And we all know who we are, where we come from. So the difference is the goal clarity. I was once had an opportunity to coach a mountain climber. And he asked me, he said, okay, Payal, if you want to climb the mountain, what is the most important thing you need? And I came up with all answers. I said, oh, you need this equipment, you need this, you need this, you need the stamina, you need the strategies, because you do need the strategy to climb the the mountain, as he had explained to me. While I was coaching him, I was getting to learn so much about mountain climbing. And ultimately, he told me, no, you don't need any of these things. The only thing, first and foremost thing you need is the mountain. He said, if you want to climb the mountain, you need the mountain. So what's your mountain, my friends? What's your goal? You have to be very, very clear about your goals. Most people who come to me for coaching, I have noticed they do not know their goals. They feel they know their goals, and they come and tell me, I want to be the head of the of my team. I want to become the CEO of the company, or I want to go to the next position. Or there are students who come to us and say, okay, Payal, I want to get to this level. That's not a goal. The goal has to be, I don't have the time to talk to you about it completely, but here's something I want to tell you, which if you write it down, you can probably work on it. When you are writing your goal, be very specific with what you want, how you want it, when you want it, with whom you want it, and by when and how, why do you want it? These 5 things should be on your plan when you write your goal. So for example, if your goal is, I want to get into, say, Google, okay, because I work with IT, there are only IT companies that come to my mind. So I want to work with Google. Okay, what you want, how do you want it? How are you going to do it? When do you want it by? With whom do you want it? And why do you want it? Why do you want only that company? Why not someone else? So make sure that you write this on a piece of paper or your phone. You all are young generations and you like phones and everything. I'm a old school. I write everything on paper and pencil yet. So make sure you write yourself and write this to on something, and remind yourself every single day, my friends, that this is where you aim to go in life, at least for the next 3 months or 6 months, because that's how you are not going to get distracted. That's how you are not going to give up. There is no motivation between, that has put me onto where I am. I will tell you, if there were days I would never get up in the morning, I would never wake up in the morning at 5 o'clock to write books. I have no motivation as such to wake up in the morning. It's my goal. It's my aim in life that every time I get an opportunity to help people become successful in their career, it's my goal in life that I want to develop transformed leaders. That's what makes me wake up. And now, whether you call that motivation or the goal, it's a very thin line, but I call it my aim in life, my purpose in life. And in fact, with whatever you all have written on the comment section, it's reminding me of this research that was done by Harvard. So Harvard had done a research which showed that 3% of the people who had clear written goals were earning on average 10 times as much as the other 97% put together. That's the impact of goals. So here's something I want you to write down, my friends, for yourself. It's your, again, leadership breakthrough moment. Setting goals is the first step in achieving anything that you want, whether it is working for a company, whether you're working for a boss, whatever you are doing. Have you set your personal goals as well as the goals for the person with whom you are working with? So here's just a forward step that I want to tell you to do is, can you articulate a clear goal for yourself for the next 3 months? That's not a huge task that I'm asking you to do. Just for the next 3 months, can you articulate a clear goal for yourself? I'll go to another one, and then I'll ask if there is time. Otherwise, we'll open it up for Q&A. Okay, whatever works. And okay, here's another one that I would tell you. Some of you wrote it in the chat box, so I thought I'll pick up that only. Execution, and some of you even said it aloud on the platform, that it's the execution, it's doing it. That's correct. Anyone, and this is something I always tell people, is anyone who has a shower has ideas. Okay, it's what you do when you're out of that shower. What you do with those ideas is what separates the exceptional leaders, the most successful people, from the average. So if you want to come out of that herd mentality, if you want to make sure that you are out of that crowd, then you have to know how to execute. See, it's great to have ideas. I have plenty of ideas. If you come and look at my studio, okay, and you will see everywhere there are ideas written. That doesn't mean that all ideas are, I've just kept it there. There are a lot of ideas that we execute on a daily basis, me, my team, everyone. So it's what you do with those ideas that's going to separate you, my friends. Now, the thing is, there are two types of people, and you have to gauge which type of a person you are. Be very honest with yourself. You don't have to put it in the chat box. This is for you to reflect and for you to achieve your leadership breakthrough. There are two types of people. The one type is, they tell themselves, when I feel good, I will get to this task. Okay, when I feel good, I will get to this task. And the second type of people who say, I will get to the task, it will make me feel good. I will get to the task, it will make me feel good. You have to decide which type of a person you are. That it's nothing wrong in being any of them, especially the first one. It's just to be aware that, yes, this is where I am, because only when you are aware, the reason I ask you these questions is for you to be aware that, yes, this is where I am. Now I need to change, and this is where I want to be. It's as simple as that. The problem is we are not aware of what we are. We like to be something, but we don't accept who we currently are. And until you don't accept who you currently are, you can never make that transformation. Never. So here's the deal. What type of a person are you between both of these? Because one person who says, I will get to it when I feel good, is waiting for motivation. That's motivation. It's going to come from somewhere. When I feel good, when I feel things are correct, when I feel things will be fine, I'll get to it. And the other person is, I don't know when things will get fine. I don't know anything. I know it's my goal to do it. I'll wake up in the morning and finish it off. Okay, so here's what you want to ask yourself every single night before you go to bed. Okay, if you want to be great at execution, you want to ask yourself this question every single day, my friends. And that could be your leadership breakthrough for this one. Did I do my best at my work today? Did I do my best at my work today? Whatever is your work, as a student, as a faculty, as a manager, as a director, as a CEO, whatever is your work, that's a question I have asked myself for years. That's a question my clients have asked for years. Because if the answer is no, then I know I have to change tomorrow. Because every single night I'm answerable only to myself of whether I did my best at my work. Okay, so here's one thing for you, my friends. You've got to move from ideation to execution to completion. Okay, and here's what I want you to do. Whatever is your goal, say if your goal is that you want to get into a good company after you finish your education here, you're at one of the best colleges here today. So you want to make a list of all the actions that you will take to achieve your goal. Make a list of those actions and then put a marker asterisk, a star on one action that you will start immediately. What will that action be? Okay. Now, Sabina, is there time that I should go on, or should we open it up for Q&A? I'm okay with anything, whatever everyone likes.
So it's like 3:36 out here. So we can you can take your time, because all the students, I can see few of the students who have turned on their camera. So they're nodding there. So
yes.
They want to hear a little bit more from you, Payal ji. So let's have 10 minutes from your side.
Sure.
We can
sure.
go I'll
Okay, fine. Sounds good. So with what we just discussed, we have with us our goal clarity, we have execution, we have consistency. These three should be able to get you to move in the direction in which you want to become a great leader. Because like we said, today onward, I am a great leader. We've started with that mindset. Okay. Another thing that came to my mind now is achieve mastery. Okay, there is this very nice fable, a story about this, not a fable, it's a story about this very famous artist Picasso. Many of you must have heard it and heard him and seen his paintings. So it is said that he was walking in a market when a woman came up to him, and she was very excited when she saw Picasso, and she said, "Oh, Mr. Picasso, Mr. Picasso, it's so great to see you here. I'm a huge fan of yours." And he just smiled back, and she said, "Oh, Mr. Picasso, can you please sketch something for me on this piece of paper?" And he said, "Of course, gladly, I would oblige." And he took the paper and he drew something artistically and he gave it to her. She saw it and she said, "Oh, it's beautiful. It's really, really beautiful. I am going to keep this with me lifelong." And she started to walk. And as soon as she was walking, he called her back. He said, "Hey, excuse me, ma'am, that will cost you $10,000. And she was very astounded. You know, she looked at him and she said, "Oh, come on, Mr. Picasso, you can't be serious. For this sketch, it's $10,000. And he said, "Yeah, it's $10,000. And she said, "Oh, come on, Mr. Picasso, you took just 5 minutes to do the sketch, and isn't $10,000 a lot for 5 minutes of work?" And he looked at that lady and he said, "Lady, the sketch may have taken me 5 minutes, but the learning took me 30 years. There is no overnight success, my friends. There is no overnight success." I have heard people, and then this is something I've heard a lot, even when I came here to India last year. I had people who would tell me, "Oh, you know what? This person is a YouTuber and they have got overnight success." I said, "Look, either they are not telling you something which they know, or then they are basically just, fooling you around. There is no overnight success. You have to be a master in your field, in your craft." And I don't know whatever field any of you are going to go through. I'm sure it's a wonderful one that you all have chosen for yourself. Years back, when I had done my master's in the US, when I had done my business administration, I had majored in human resources. So so you all must be having your wonderful goals, I know. But here's the big deal, my friends. Are you willing to be a master in your field, a master in your craft? Whatever you want to choose. It starts from today. Do not come back and tell me, "Hey, Payal, when I get there," okay, you remember that sentence, "When I get there, I will do wonders." You are not going to be able to do wonders there if you haven't been able to do wonders now, today, wherever you are, with whatever you have. You just cannot. For me, achieving mastery was in leadership. It is still, I still feel I haven't achieved what I need to achieve in terms of learning. I am a constant learner. I have never come to a point, my friends, where I could sit back on this chair or any chair and say, "I know it all." And I hope till I am alive, I never come to that point, because I don't want to be the person who knows it all. I want to learn. Today, being here, just listening to the conversations between all of you, I have learned so much about the place in which you are, about the type of people you are. So joyous and so full of life are you. So you're constantly learning from people. You're constantly learning. So to achieve mastery, you have to be in a learning mode. You're always in a learning mode. So never feel that, "Oh, you know what? I'm done with my college. Now I am in this place. I know quite a lot of things." I'm always learning. Here's my question to all of you to think, my friends, and an action plan for you. What is that one thing you would like to achieve mastery in? For me, I told you again, I'm saying it was and it still is leadership. Leadership has been the love of my life. I don't know from how long. And that's the reason I keep churning out books on it. I keep posting so much on social media just for the reason that I want people to become world-class leaders. Because one thing is there, my friends, success truly is within each of us. You just have to know how to transform yourself into that leader, and everything will be for you. That's something I can guarantee. So what is that one thing you want to achieve mastery in? Okay, here's your leadership breakthrough that I can think of. Immerse yourself in your craft, period. immerse yourself in your craft, period. Okay? I'll go with one more, and then we'll probably take it for the Q&As. This is something I noticed a big problem in a lot of people. Learn to say no. Learn to say no. And I see some of you smiling because it's one of the most hardest thing to do. And it does sound very counterintuitive when you hear people around you saying, oh my God, go and say yes to all opportunities. It's not possible. Learning to say no is the heart of being a great leader. Just learning to say no. Do you know, and again, I'm sharing this not to impress, but to express to you what it takes to say no. Do you know the amount of requests, and my team member is there in this session. She can always vouch for it. The amount of requests I get every week to speak at conferences, colleges, corporates, whether it is on my LinkedIn, anywhere, social media, on my Instagram. And they're all legitimate requests, all very legitimate requests, which I have to say no to. Because if I have said yes to be with you today, I have said no somewhere else. And again, I repeat, this is not to impress you, but to express to you, my friends, that your time is of value. And if you don't value your time, guess what? No one else will. When I got to hear about your college, when I got to hear about SAIM, when I got to see that your mission of developing leaders and entrepreneurs in the students is something which resonates with me, it makes sense. I know you will connect. I know I will connect with you. I know I am speaking to such people who are interested in the future of their life. You have to decide who you will say a no to and who you will say a yes to. And that will come only when you have clarity on your goal. Otherwise, guess what? You're going to be on everyone's calendar and on everyone's agenda. And that's how you spread yourself thin. That's how you don't do what you want to do in your life. And that's how you become everything to everyone. You know, I have times where I get requests that why don't you do public seminars? And I said, that is not on my agenda right now. It's not my goal. My goal is to work with corporates and to really churn out leaders in the world. That's where we look at. So we say no to so many things. What are some of the things you are going to say or no to, my friends? Here's your action I want you to do. I want you to make a list today of the things you are going to say a no to, to achieve your goals. Now, don't come out there and don't put down over there, I'm going to say a no to my mom for this. I'm going to say a no to my teachers for this. It doesn't work like that. Okay, you need to be very clear. What is your goal? And to achieve that goal, what all things you're going to say no to? Are you going to say no to some of the distractions in your life? I don't know what are your distractions. In my life, there were other distractions which I had to say a no to. So are you going to say a no to some distractions in your life? Are you going to say no to some of the things you really want to do, but it's not helping you to achieve your goal? And that's where everything will get connected. Your consistency will get connected with this. Your execution will get connected with it. Your goals will get connected with all of this just by saying no. Here's your last leadership breakthrough for today, my friends. The difference between successful people and the really successful people is that the really successful people say no to most of the things so that they can say yes to only those things to which they are willing to commit and which will take them toward their goal. To conclude all of this, my friends, I really want to tell you something is that wherever you are in your life from today, and if I ever get an opportunity to come there and be with you live, and that would be a moment I would always cherish. But here's something: wherever you are in your life, you are going to face problems, you are going to face pressures, whether it is right now where you are or later on in your work life. That's the given deal for all of us in our career life. But don't stop moving ahead. Keep moving ahead, going ahead, become that great leader, and as you move ahead, you will shine, you will become that unstoppable leader. But here's something you want to remember. Great leaders do not set out to be great. They only set out to make a difference. What difference are you going to make in the lives of the people around you, whether it's your boss, your company, your friends, your teachers? That's one question you want to wake up every single day. What difference will I make in the lives of people today? That itself, my friends, will take you onto the journey of becoming a great leader. And as you started the session, that's the same thing you will continue in your life. Today onward, I am a great leader. It was such a pleasure talking to you and sharing my insights. I would love to open it up for Q&A, and I truly hope I have been of value to all of you today who have taken the time to be with us here.
Thank you, Payal ma'am. Today onwards, I am an unstoppable leader. Your talk was so relatable because I still do not know what I aspire to become, and I will do a good job when I'm in that certain position. And I was about to say I will go fix my rule of three, which keeps changing every day, but I guess after listening to you, I should not say that. I'd rather just go and find my three and fix it permanently. Now,
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Payal ma'am. So let's move to our virtual audience for a Q&A.
Sure.
While they put questions on the chat, I would like to request our guests to state your questions in the chat box. I do have questions from another platform that is coming in, which I will take first. So the
Sure.
first question that is coming in is, does being a leader mean leading a team or guiding a team?
It means both, because a leader is incomplete without the team. There are people who say, I am a self-made man or a self-made woman. Well, I always tell them that's a pity, because if you are a self-made man or a self-made woman, it just means that you have been going that journey alone. So you all must have heard that saying, it's lonely at the top. It is lonely at the top if you have left your people back. But if you take your people with you, you are going to make a great team and move ahead. So yes, a leader needs to have a team, and a leader needs to take care of the team. It's very interconnected.
The next one we have is from Vimarsh. He is asking if do leaders need to have followers to be successful? Also, other way around, is good leadership determined by the characteristics and attitude of one's followers too?
Okay, do leaders need to have followers?
In order
Yes.
to be successful.
Yeah, because otherwise, if you don't have anyone following you, you're just walking in the park alone. Right? So when we say followers, we don't mean followers as in someone who should listen to your instructions, or someone who should be like, okay, if the leader says do this, only then I will do this. With the term followers, the entire definition of followers has changed now. The definition of followers means, as a leader, how many people have you been able to influence to do their best? How many people have you been able to influence so that they can keep moving ahead in their life? So when you say followers, it's more like, how many people can I create an impact in their life so that they can become great leaders? That's the definition of followers now.
That is very well said. Next one we have is, which I can relate to myself. As a female leader, what has been the most significant barrier in your career? And what advice would you give aspiring female leaders of the next generation?
Okay, that's a very thoughtful question. I get this question in every whether I'm in a corporate or whether it is here. And my answer has always been the same, Anushka, to everyone, is that I usually prefer not to say that what obstacles or challenges I have faced as a women leader, because I think when I would say that, I would put myself in a position of a victim, that, oh, you know what, because I'm a woman, that's why I am facing this. So here's the big deal. Everyone has challenges in their career life, whether it's a man or a woman. I do not see anyone who has gone ahead and reached somewhere without obstacles. And I wonder how the world would be if a man would go and say, oh, because I'm a man, I'm facing these challenges. If I was a woman, this would not happen. So you see, the universe has given challenges to everyone. Your set of challenge as a woman is very different from a set of challenges that a man would have. So I take it in a very different way. Rather than putting myself in the position of a victim and saying, because I'm a woman, all this is coming my way, I say, oh, these are the challenges the universe has put in my way. I need to cross them. It's as simple as that. Now, I am not in a victim position. I'm not going to sit on this chair and cry and hope for something else. I am in a position that would say, okay, this is my obstacle. Life has given different obstacles to different people. This is my obstacle. This is my challenge. I will cross it the way I need to. And that's the frame of mind with which I have crossed most of the obstacles in my own career life. I hope that helps. I know it's not the standard answer that someone would expect, but I don't have a standard answer for that.
But the note that you took from your own thoughts that you shared about not being the victim is very much relevant in this question. So I think that pretty much answers what was asked. Okay. Next one we have is from Dharma. He says, once I came to know that Simon Sinek defining leaders and leadership, and he said that leadership is not decisions. It's a choice to take care of the people left of you or the people right of you. What's your take on this?
So everyone puts leadership out there in a very different way, but when you put it all together, what Simon Sinek also wants to say, and that you will read it in any of his books or anywhere, is that ultimately the job of a leader is to make sure that his people, his or her people, are safe and they are making the correct choices to move ahead in life. And that's the reason I also said that you don't develop followers, you influence people and help them to move ahead.
The next one we have is from Vivek, and I think most of my MBA peers here will want an answer to this. Should I be an autocratic or a democratic leader to lead my group members?
Okay, so when you talk about autocratic or a democratic leader, everyone has their own leadership style. You have to see what works for you. Another thing I have noticed with many of my clients is there's a lot of difference when it comes to the theory part of life and the practical part of life. Okay, so in the theory part of life, autocratic or democratic or any type of leadership style looks beautiful and you feel, okay, I'll get the work done. Ultimately, when you are in the field, when you are amongst people, it's best to go with the type of people you have. And I still believe, this is my belief, as a leader, your job is to influence and inspire other people to be great. If you cannot bring out the greatness in somebody else, then for me, it's not a true definition of a leader. Okay, I'm just taking you away from the book knowledge into the real life.
Next one we have is an interesting one. And Vivek does say thank you on the chat, ma'am.
Thank you.
We have next one from Vijay, which is a bit interesting. What is the difference between a leader chosen by a group and the leader who made the group?
What's the difference between a leader who
is chosen by the group and a leader who makes the group?
Not much, because a leader who makes the group, the leader who chooses, the leader who is chosen by the group is a leader who everyone wants to follow. That's it's not position based, it is not title based, it is someone who you want to follow by choice. Okay. And a leader, you said, and a leader who made the group is a leader who is either, and this is my assumption, maybe in the position and has created that team, or is a leader who doesn't have any position or a title, but still went ahead and made a group for completing a project. So both have a very different meaning, and both will relate in terms of the actual scenario that happens in place. I hope it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Next one is also from Bimarsh. Is it possible to maintain consistency every time? Also, sometimes being consistent is unfruitful, which might be a disaster.
No, it's not possible to be consistent all the time, but you have to know how to bring yourself back to that consistency level. Because we are all human beings, and as human beings, we are going to face emotions, we are going to face problems, we are going to go through many things in our life. And as a leader, you don't have any superpowers that are, that you will be always happy-go-lucky and perfect. In fact, I had put up an article that was published in the CEO magazine. I put it up on LinkedIn, of how the business world and our society has put leaders up there that, you need to be perfect, you need to have everything very clear in your mind, when it's not like that. So consistency at all times may not be possible. Your job is to know how to come back on track to that consistency level. And also sometimes being consistent is unfruitful. It might be a disaster. It might be a disaster if your ladder is on the wrong wall. Okay, so if your ladder is on the wrong wall and you're consistently climbing, and then definitely when you reach the top, it's going to be a disaster, because that was not the view that you wanted to see from there. And that's the reason you need to be very clear on your goals. If you're clear on your goals, then your consistency level does pay off. That is for sure. That's a guarantee. But you need to be very clear on which wall your ladder is.
The next one seems to be a realistic scenario. What if you have a deadline and your key subordinate gets disappointed with you and then threatens to deny working with you? How do you handle those subordinates being a good leader?
What if you are in a deadline and the key subordinate gets disappointed with you and threats to deny
working with you?
These are very real life situations. This happens, this will happen, and you have to continue your work. You have to be sure what's the priority at this point of time. Your work, your deadline, your project is more priority as compared in comparison to your leader, whoever it is. There was a very nice statement, a phrase made by Steve Jobs, I think, and he had said it very well, that if you want to be in the business of making people happy, then you sell ice creams. Because your job, wherever you are, is not to make people happy. Your job is to consistently deliver great results and to work towards those results while maintaining great work relationships. Now, if that is the priority of completing your task, then you complete the task and then decide how you want to work on your work relationship with that subordinate, in what ways, what are some of the key reasons that this is happening. But your first priority, like they mentioned there, is the deadline. Then I would go with the deadline first and then work on the other priority of maintaining my relationship. Because that's the key also. You don't work with broken relationships at work.
That's very well said. Next one we have is from Sabina ma'am herself.
How sweet.
She asks if it is true that leaders go through emotional labor than the followers. How do you deal with that?
Yes, they do. Oh, this is so relatable, Sabina. This is the article I was speaking about, which I put up on LinkedIn. I think it was this week only, of how leaders are expected to manage their emotions and everything during all the times. But yes, during crisis, when everyone is looking up at the leader, everyone is fearful, everyone has worry about the pandemic, everyone has tensions. don't you feel even the leader is going to go through the same feelings, because the leader is ultimately a human being? So the same fear, the same, in fact, a leader has more fears, more tensions, and more anxiety than the followers, because as a follower or as a individual contributor, I would say, your fear is mainly on my job security, my paycheck, and my family. A leader's insecurity is and tension is the pandemic, the family, the job, the paycheck, everything. Add to it, a leader is also tensed up about the financial crisis of the organization, meeting the goals of the organization, keeping all the employees happy, making sure the employees are productive at this point of time, making sure the online meetings are going to be fruitful. So all of this is the emotional trauma that a leader has signed up for. And I say signed up for because when we take a leadership position, we know all this is a package that comes to us, and how do you deal with these things is your everyday task. And that's exactly, and Sabina has really hit a topic which is very close to my heart. Anyone who has ever visited my website will see I always write developing transformed leaders. Developing transformed leaders. I say it again because transformation happens from inside. And I never ever have ever trained anyone on being a skill set leader. I've always helped people becoming a transformed leader so that they can innovate, inspire, and influence. And transformation comes from inside. When from inside you are changed yourself, you can deal with any circumstances outside. In fact, I'll share this with you. This is the very first time I'm sharing this publicly. My third book is going to be out, and it is very much connected with how leaders can win in any economy. So it's so I hope, Sabina, that answered the question though. But yes, she really nailed it.
Next one we have is an option that is given. Which is better? Confidence gained because of the influence of the follower, or self-confidence gained overall?
Self-confidence, without a doubt. Because self-confidence, you're not dependent on who is the person who is following you. As a self-confident person, anyone who is in front of you, you can deal with them. Absolutely.
Next one we have is from Dharma. Although having similar kinds of technological advancements, HR, and other necessary constituents for their businesses, why do some become more successful than others?
Why do some become more successful than others is because of the mindset with which they work. So most of us, what happens is we are trained into becoming great leaders. We are trained into technology. We are trained into everything. And if any of you have ever read, the questions you're asking, sometimes I feel it is also there. A lot of these questions, are there in many of my interviews. So this is so close to my heart, very close to my heart. The reason success within leadership was formed was to reduce this gap between people who are where they are and a lot of people who get stuck in their careers, in spite of technology advancement, in spite of resources. And the main reason of this is because 75% or to 80% of the people get training. They are trained in what they are doing. So they follow instructions, they get skill sets and reskilling and upskilling. And it's only the 15% of the people that you see at the top in the world, as well as in the organization, that are working from a different space. That space is what we take people into, whether it is through the books or whether it is in any way. That's the space you want to enter, is the transformation phase, not the training phase. Training is important, but how are you transforming yourself? With what mindset are you working? If you're waiting for motivation from outside, I repeat, it's not going to come.
Let's hope we all get the motivation from within us. That
It's already there, yes.
Next one we have is good leadership determined by the characteristics and attitude of one's followers?
Yes, absolutely. Because apart from having your own, traits and qualities and characteristics, a lot of your characteristics also comes from the people who are in your team, and that's why hiring the people in your team, the type of people you hire, is very important.
And we have another one which is on a bit on the feminist side. Do you experience more resistance when you are leading men, or is that a stigma?
Okay, in my own example, I have coached, and I'm more men than I've coached women. So I don't know how to answer this. And my entire speaking, my entire workshops and seminars happen to be in corporates, which are very much male dominated. I am in the boardrooms with executives who are males. So maybe I must have crossed that years back, but I haven't ever faced. But there is one thing I can definitely say does appear a challenge is for you, in at least this was in my initial years of doing my work, was to get people to believe that what you are saying makes sense. So that's a challenge any newcomer would have, whether it's a man or a woman. But so for me, it's been more of coaching and speaking with men, and how you see it as a stigma or something is again on your own mindset. I do not deviate from that statement still.
Okay, so now let's have one last question.
Sure.
So that we don't keep everyone.
Sure. And just to add here, I love connecting with people. So if any of you are on LinkedIn or on Insta, I would love to connect. Please just put up that you were a part of this session, so it will be easy to accept the invitation, rather than I would leave it on red otherwise. But I love to connect with people. So if you're a connector, then Insta and LinkedIn are the best places that I post a lot of stuff.
I will definitely be connecting with you, ma'am, myself on LinkedIn.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure, always.
So if we can have a last question or not, would you like to share anything as a concluding remark, ma'am?
My concluding thing would be that it's such a pleasure to be with all of you. I'm again repeating, and this is from my heart. This is such a great group, of the faculty, the students. Love the smiling faces. You all are so joyful. And I repeat this, it's a very rare thing to see. I travel all around. Now I'm traveling all around virtually. So keep up that spirit. I don't know what makes what you all are, but whatever that secret sauce of your college is and of all of you is, it's working well. And you all are wonderful people, and I am blessed to be here. I'll be honest. It's my privilege to be with all of you.
Thank you for being with us, ma'am. I think what keeps us together is we don't say no to the assignments that
Thank you so much, ma'am.
That's great. That's
Before
great.
they remove me from this meeting for saying this.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for being there
Baba
virtually.
wants to say thank you.
Thank you so much for being there virtually. We got to know many things about leadership and leaders. So it was a wonderful section, and it would have been much better if you were physically attending the session and we were enjoying the session more. And we would love to hear more things from you.
Absolutely. I'm sure the universe will bless us to meet in person. And this is a big thanks to the entire team of the college of the SAIM University for inviting me, and thank you to Raji who connected all of us and helped us to take ahead. So thank you everyone.
Okay, so Payal, now I'd like to request our Ashok sir to give us sweet thanking note to a personality which we adored a lot. So in these two interaction, we have known you by heart. And as Duty Ji mentioned, in this small interaction in our last meeting and today, So we are very fortunate to have you as our resource person. And don't worry, he's our student from BBA. If you happen to join SAIM for an MBA, we'll assure you, if these lockdowns are over, Payal ji is in Kathmandu, Nepal. Payal ji is sure to come at SAIM in our auditorium, and she's going to have one-to-one interaction with our students. Thank you very much, Payal ji. So Ashok sir, the platform is yours now. Ashok sir.
Sir, your mic is mute.
Always forget. Okay. Payalji, thank you so much, first of all, for having selected SAIM as your first college for this speech here. It was very, very interesting and very, down to earth, really. Very easy for students to understand. And frankly, I also picked up a few things because I think, although I'm quite an old person, it's never too late. I think it's too late the day you're dead. It's never too late otherwise. Some of the things you said and was about consistency, which, summing it up, I think you basically, let me quote a proverb in English which says, a rolling stone gathers no moss. So you said if you have too many ideas but don't follow up, then you don't really get anywhere. Then you also emphasized, setting goals, setting clear goals, execution, and most importantly, not execution for the sake of execution, but completion. Completion towards getting certain results. And I think this is something that our students must leave with because, one of the things often that is, asked is, are leaders born or are they made? And I think there is a lot of what Payalji told us today that suggests you can make yourself to be a good leader. You don't have to be born, okay? And so for this reason, I think this was a very motivating talk, even though she would not like to use this word, I'm sure. And I hope our students have really learned a lot. And the last thing I want to mention was also a very important part of our talk, which was she used the word learn. Now, learn doesn't mean you learn what is in the course only. You learn whatever you can as a student from your faculty, from the world around you. Listen to the news. See what is around, what is happening in the world today, because that'll give you a perspective of what you are going to face 10, 15, 20 years ahead. And I think that will be one of the first steps towards you being a leader also. All right? So thank you very much, Payalji, for having made, given this talk. It was very interesting, very informative, very knowledgeable, and I'm sure our students and all of us, the faculty included, not only learned, we also enjoyed your talk very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you
Ashok.
so much, Ashok sir. Thank you so much, Ashok sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Ashok sir, for your wonderful piece of thanking note. So, Palji, your session was like a warmth on the rainy day for all our students and us as well, for our faculty members. So, Rajesh ji and Vishal sir, thank you very much for coordinating this session with Palji. Palji, I'd make sure that this is not the first and the last session we have with you because you are here to make a difference. As you mentioned, your session surely has made a difference. And that is a quality of a great leader. And yes, all of us are the leader from today. And no doubt that you are also the leader who is here to make a difference on the young minds. That is very much required. So Vishal sir, last note from your side.
I'd like to thank Payal ji and Raji, of course, for getting all this thing done. So yeah, students must have enjoyed this session, and we are looking forward to have more of these kind of session from Payal ji in the future. I hope in person for sure if the COVID and all other things goes out. So thank you very much, Payal ji and Raji, for making this thing happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Vishal, for coordinating. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So I think Sabina ma'am, now we can we are like on time. It's 4:15, so we can officially call this meeting over, and we can stay back for any, like informal session followed up by this formal session. If there's any, like questions or queries that you may have to either Payal ji or Raji ji or to us, then we'll be more than happy to entertain for, I think, next 4 or 5 minutes. Now the formal session is over. I think if the students are, like want to leave, then yeah, the sessions is over.
Yeah, thank you. All of you stay safe and be safe with your families.
Oh yeah, it's kind of all of a sudden it's getting quiet, and it's
It's like now when we have mentioned that formal session is over, informal session is there. So one of the drawback of online session is in the formal session we love to talk. When it comes to informal, inside the classroom we have to ask, stop making the noise, stop making the noise. But we hope as a faculty in the online session our students could make a noise. So like the part I don't like about the online session is the silence, right? Okay, so students, if you want, you can leave. Okay, so